Hello and welcome to Nanuya Channel, the podcast where we dive deep into societal norms, personal experiences, and the complexities of modern life. And today, we're diving into something that hits really close to home for a lot of us: the constant need for validation and that deep discomfort we feel when someone doesn't like us. Have you ever caught yourself overthinking something you said because you were worried someone might be upset with you? Or maybe you've gone out of your way, bending over backwards, to keep the peace or make someone happy, even if it meant sacrificing your own needs? If you have, you are not alone. Where does this come from? So, let's get into it. Where does this need for validation come from? At its core, validation is about feeling seen, heard, and valued. As kids, our brains are wired to seek approval, especially from parents, teachers, and peers, because it helps us feel safe and loved. This behavior is deeply connected to our survival instincts. Being accepted by the group was once essential for survival, so the need to be liked is hardwired into us to some extent. But when approval becomes conditional, like only being praised when you do well, or only receiving affection when you're easy to handle, we can internalize the belief that love must be earned. This creates a subconscious pattern. If I please others, I will be safe. If I upset them, I risk abandonment. Sometimes this is reinforced by early experiences. Maybe you had a caregiver who was critical, or a family that avoided emotional expression. Maybe standing out or having needs of your own meant being labeled difficult. Over time, your brain learns that approval equals safety. That discomfort or disagreement is dangerous. This pattern can stick with us into adulthood. It can manifest as people-pleasing, chronic over-apologizing, fear of confrontation, and the constant need to check in to make sure others are okay with us. We seek micro-reassurance throughout the day, from facial expressions, text replies, social media likes, hoping it will soothe the anxiety underneath. And in today's world, it's even harder to detach from external validation. Social media constantly offers metrics, likes, comments, shares, telling us how approved we are. It can make us feel like our worth is measurable and public, and when those numbers are low, it feels personal, even when it's not. The hidden costs now. Seeking validation isn't inherently bad. We're social beings, and wanting connection and affirmation is completely natural. But it becomes an issue when our self-worth becomes entirely dependent on it. Let's say you're at work, and your manager seems distant one day. If your mind spirals, "Did I mess something up? Are they mad at me?" That's a sign of external validation dependency. Your emotional state is riding on someone else's mood. Or consider this: you say yes to helping a friend move, even though you're exhausted and overwhelmed, just because you're terrified of disappointing them. You don't want to seem selfish. But what's actually happening is you're denying your own limits out of fear that being human will make you unlovable. Over time, this chips away at your self-trust. You start losing touch with your own wants and needs because you're constantly editing yourself to be more acceptable to others. And that, ironically, can make relationships feel hollow because they're built on performance, not authenticity. You might also start to feel anxious, depressed, or burnt out. Living in constant fear of being disliked takes a mental toll. It can make your world feel small because every choice is filtered through the question, will this make people like me? We also tend to attract relationships that reinforce this dynamic. People who expect us to show up only as our agreeable, helpful selves. And when we finally express a boundary, it feels like a betrayal to them and to us. Facing the fear. So, what's really going on under the surface? Often, it's fear of rejection. It can be deeply rooted in childhood experiences. Maybe you had a parent who was emotionally unavailable, or someone who made love feel conditional. You might have internalized the idea that if someone is upset with you, it means you're bad or unworthy. And the fear isn't just about being disliked, it's often about losing identity. When our sense of self is built on how others see us, disapproval can feel like existential danger. Our nervous system reacts as if it's a life or death situation. But here's the truth. Not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. Read that again. It's okay. You could be the most generous, thoughtful, loving person on the planet, and someone will still misinterpret you, dislike you, or treat you unfairly. That doesn't say anything about your worth. That says something about their perception, or even their own emotional baggage. Learning to tolerate the discomfort of someone else's disapproval is powerful. It doesn't mean you're unkind. It means you're growing. In fact, the ability to disappoint others while staying true to yourself is a sign of emotional maturity. Steps toward healing. If you're listening and this resonates, here are a few things to reflect on or even journal about. Check your motives. Before you say yes to something or offer help, ask, am I doing this from love or fear? Is this authentic or a performance? Practice self-validation. Instead of texting 3 friends to ask if your outfit looks okay, try looking in the mirror and deciding for yourself. Say, I like this. I feel good in this. That's self-validation. Over time, this builds inner authority. Sit with discomfort. Let someone be annoyed. Let a text go unanswered. Let your boundary disappoint someone. And then, breathe. Remind yourself, I can survive this. Their feelings are not my responsibility. Get curious instead of panicking. Notice what comes up. Try grounding exercises, like deep breathing or body scans, to soothe the nervous system. Set small boundaries. Don't start with a huge confrontation. Start by saying, I'm not available that day, when you're truly not. Or, let me think about it and get back to you. And then hold that line. Each time you do this, you teach your nervous system that you're safe even when you're not pleasing. Reconnect with your values. Who are you when you're not trying to impress or appease anyone? What do you believe in? What matters to you? The more you live in alignment with your core self, the less you need external approval. Try listing 5 values that matter most to you and ask yourself weekly how your actions reflect those values. Consider therapy. Working with a professional can help you uncover the root of your people-pleasing habits and build tools to strengthen your sense of self-worth from within. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, internal family systems, IFS, and EMDR can be especially helpful. The need for validation is human, but you don't need to be held hostage by it. When you start to validate yourself, you stop outsourcing your worth. You begin to build an inner foundation that's unshaken by people's opinions. You start choosing peace over perfection and authenticity over approval. You are enough, even when people are disappointed, even when you say no, even when not everyone agrees with you. Thanks for tuning in. If this episode spoke to you, share it with a friend, subscribe, or leave a review. It really helps us grow. And remember, you don't have to be perfect to be worthy. Until next time, be kind to yourself.